Arizona is the epicenter of the largest measles outbreak in the country. There are 22 confirmed cases here, 9 of them employees at the Eloy Detention Center.
That's right. Some of those employees refusing to get vaccinated, and then they helped spread the virus. Tonight, some ways to keep your kids safe as the beginning of the school year gets close. Dr. Andrew Carroll is live in studio with Mark answering your questions.
Thanks, guys. Dr. Carroll, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
It is pretty alarming that we are the epicenter of this measles outbreak.
Isn't that interesting? It's not Anaheim, Disneyland. It's not some other, Orlando with all of the. It's right here. It's right here in Arizona. It's just about a half hour south of our doorstep.
I'm going to get to our questions in just a second, but you were telling me off the air that this is something that can spread faster than almost anything else.
It's a 90% risk of contracting the disease if you don't have the immunity and you walk through that cough cloud that somebody just passed 20 seconds ago.
Crazy. All right. So let's start with the questions. This is from Crystal, and she says she's focused on the children. She asked via Twitter, what's the incubation period before you start to see signs of this in a child?
Okay, so if you've walked through that cough cloud, it may be 7 to 9 days on average, but for those final 2 days, days 5 through 7, you're already passing the disease, and yet you have no symptoms. And that first symptom is going to be a really high fever, 104 and above. And so if you have a fever of a 104, no matter what it is, you really need to see your doctor.
And hopefully, if you're watching this and your kid's running a fever, don't send them to school, right?
No, don't send them to school. Call your doctor's office, but make sure that they know that you may be bringing in a child with a possible measles outbreak, because we need to do what we need to do in our office is to protect our other patients. And we have processes for that in place to quarantine the room to make sure that our other patients are safe, but we want to see your kid. It's very important.
All right, Aaron Randall, let's go to another question. He says via the 12 News Facebook page, do we contract measles through the air? I think you just mentioned this. Or through human contact, and in the case of measles, it's both, right?
It's both. It's most likely to be transmitted just through air, because you don't know. If you don't shake that guy's hand, you may not know he just sneezed or something, and you've already just contracted the disease.
All right, Dr. Carroll's going to be back in just a few minutes. Don't forget to send your questions into the 12 News Facebook page or our Twitter page, and we'll have more of your questions and answers coming up in just a couple of minutes. Dr. Andrew Carroll, a primary care doc, joins us once again to answer more of your questions about the measles. Arizona right now dealing with the biggest measles outbreak in the country. And Tara wants to know, and I actually had this question myself, if you're an adult and you know you were vaccinated as a kid, do you need to worry about it?
You probably shouldn't worry too much about it. Most vaccines were given at 1 and 4 years of age, and they're live vaccines, so they have a really great take. However, if you've got small children, maybe elderly adults in your household, and you're concerned about your immunity, maybe you want to get pregnant. Most important, before you get pregnant, get your immunity checked. It's a very easy blood test, and we can tell you whether or not you're actually immune.
And this can really cause some serious birth defects. There's so much talk about Zika out there, but the measles for a pregnant woman can be very, very hazardous.
It can be birth defects or just death of the fetus, and that's even more tragic.
Yeah, all right. And let's see. Jose says, my daughter is 18. She never has had the measles vaccine. Should she get it?
I'm assuming we're talking about the vaccine. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Please go get your child vaccinated. Especially if she's going to college. You know, colleges are epicenters for people coming from different countries, and these other countries don't necessarily require vaccines for their children. So if your child is going away to school, make sure. And a lot of schools actually require it.
And what about the school of thought that, and I know some parents think this, I want to get my kid exposed to the chicken pox and then they'll have an immunity. I don't want them to get vaccinated for all of these things. Does the measles fall under that same umbrella?
Well, measles has so many more problems with it and a high death rate, especially in kids. Why would you want to put your child through that? It's a safe vaccine. It's been around for decades. The whole myth about autism has been debunked. Get your child immunized. Much more important to protect them rather than make them go through a disease that has no cure.
Great, great advice and information. Dr. Carroll, thank you. Garibe?